As Jesus was growing up, he would have witnessed many such crucifixions.
We know, for example, that in the revolt after the death of Herod the Great in 4 BCE, the Syrian legate Varus brought legions down into Galilee to quell the trouble, and he crucified 2,000 of the rebels after that.
When Herod died in 4 BC, his death triggered a messianic fever. Rebellion broke out on 3 fronts across the country.
This was the beginning. This is the place where the serious rebellion started, here, at this point where we sit here now.
Was this a nationwide revolt?
Yes. Israel was literally burning during this rebellion, yes. There were 3 centers for this rebellion, 3 messianic leaders. One, Judah in the Galilee, the second one, at Longus in Emmaus, and the third one, Simon, from the Perea, from the area of Transjordan.
Suddenly, our idea of the world that Jesus was born into seems very different from anything that we heard about in Christmas carols. I mean, this was no tranquil land with shepherds tending their flock and wise men following stars. This was a land riddled by political unrest and violence, rape, pillage, crucifixions, Jews against Romans. There was a revolution going on.
Clues here to the harsh reality of life that he and fellow Jews suffered under Roman rule.
Now, this hole here, what do you think that is?
This pit was built in a way that it would be camouflaged and wouldn't be visible, because this area was covered over again, possibly with some stone slabs, possibly with some wood or a mat or something. And beneath it, this pit was intended not to be seen.
Deep in the bedrock, the residents of this Nazareth house dug 3 bell-shaped chambers. They are from 5 to 5.5 feet high, big enough to store food and more.
The Romans were taxing the produce, and maybe they wanted to hide some of the produce. And more specifically, at times of crisis like war, the people who lived in these Jewish villages needed a place to hide.
One thinks of those early years of Jesus in Nazareth, as a boy and then as a young man, just getting on with life. But underneath that, there is always the undercurrent of a certain amount of danger. It's not quite what it seems to be.
The residents of this first-century house were hiding from the violence and political turmoil that stalked the country. It came after the death of the master politician, King Herod.
These were times that were incredibly turbulent. There was a revolution when Herod the king died. The Romans were immensely cruel. All of these things fed into Jesus' experience as a child and would have affected how he saw the world.
From the days of John the Baptist until now, the kingdom of heaven has been subjected to violence, and violent people have been raiding it. No one can serve 2 masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. Do not suppose that I have come to bring peace to the earth. I did not come to bring peace, but a sword. And will not God bring about justice for his chosen ones, who cry out to him day and night? Will he keep putting them off? I tell you, he will see that they get justice, and quickly. The Spirit of the Lord is on me, because he has anointed me to proclaim good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim freedom for the prisoners and recovery of sight for the blind, to set the oppressed free, to proclaim the year of the Lord's favor.
In Paul's letter to the Galatians, he says that Jesus was brought up under the law, meaning he was a descendant of David. He was a Jew and kept Jewish law.